What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here. Welcome to day 76 of the 365-day graphic novel review challenge. Today, I want to talk to you about Mythic by John McCrea and Phil Hester. Now, I want to go ahead and say this is one of those instances where I see a creator's name on the cover of a book and I get really excited because I like that creator's artwork, and then I find out that this is actually written by that creator. I am a huge fan of Phil Hester's art. It reminds me a lot of the art from Batman the Animated Series, kind of in that Bruce Timm, Darwin Cook school of style. I really like his artwork a lot, and he is the writer of this book, not the artist. Now, John McCrea's art is very good. It's just a different kind of style than Phil Hester's. So I was a little bit disappointed going into this. I still really like John McCrea's art. Don't let me make you think that I was disappointed in the art here, because it is very good, but I was going into this expecting Phil Hester's artwork, and that's not what this book is. So you should know that if you are as much of a fan of Phil Hester as I am. Having said that, this book is about the people who keep the world running. They are the troubleshooters of the mythical stuff of the world. So there's all sorts of weird mystic stuff that doesn't actually exist in reality, or does it? I don't believe in this kind of stuff, but there's all this kind of stuff like the end of the world that these guys are constantly trying to prevent from happening, kind of keep the machine well-oiled, if you will. And this book is about the near almost end of the world, and these guys trying to put a stop to it. And it is very, very similar in premise to the BPRD from the Hellboy universe, which I've never read any of the BPRD books. I have read some of the Hellboy books, but it is very similar to that. You've got some gods and goddesses working with this mythic team, and then you've got this one guy who is seemingly just a normal guy, and then you get a couple of twists and turns there with his character. So if you are a fan of the BPRD, maybe you've read all of Mike Mignola's BPRD stuff, and you want more, and you don't have any more at the moment, then maybe you would like to read this, because it is very similar. Also, on the other hand, if you don't care for that premise of people trying to fight the weird things that go bump in the night secretly as this pseudo-government organization, if you don't like that idea, if you don't like that premise with the BPRD, and you don't want to see it again under someone else's hand, then you might not care for this book. Me personally, as someone who hasn't read any of the BPRD, but I have read the Hellboy stuff, I actually am not a huge fan of Mike Mignola's Hellboy stuff, so I really like this. I think it's actually better than a lot of the Hellboy books that I have read. So this totally worked for me. It did everything that I wanted it to do. I really like the background stories that we get near the end of the book. We get a couple of stories that are kind of showing you the origin story of some of these other people on the team, because when this book first starts, the team has already been put together and has already been active for a very long time, and so we get to see the origin story of our main protagonist, but then all these other guys were starting in medias res, more or less. So we get to see their origin stories in the back of the book in these backup issues, and I really like those issues a lot, almost more than the main story itself. And that's not a slight against the main story, because I think it's a very good story, very well told. The art is very good, but I like these backup issues even more. And I'm always a big fan of whenever you do like a little side story in a book like this. Alpha Flight, John Byrne's Alpha Flight did that for a little while, and I really liked it there also. So I highly recommend this book. It came out last year. I got it shortly after it came out because I was that excited to see what this was about. I think it's very good. It is not all ages appropriate. I will go ahead and say that. There is a little bit of not safe for work stuff going on here in terms of language and in terms of full frontal, that sort of thing. So if you're under the age of 18, or if you are susceptible to that sort of thing and you don't like to see that in your comics, keep that in mind. If you don't care, if that doesn't bother you, go ahead and read this. It's a very good story, very good art. I highly recommend it. I don't have any problems with this book. So those are my thoughts on Mythic. I hope that you guys liked this review, and if you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow and every other day this year for a different video. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.